I'm sorry. Let me. Hello? Yes.
So I needed because to
Okay.
you just
Okay.
and I so I've been around a long time, and that's when people right here. So this is 2+ years, and so during that time, the organization has become quite large, and we did the PR rescue. We took here 5 and to the clinic and Greyhaven have taken, and I've been placed in homes like someone died, but they were placed except the cause. Um, someone was at the Ladder House, and that that into the hands of doctors to do, and that came right here. And so I was thinking about to say Greyhaven has done a lot of, and not just because of these major rescue, but the years Greyhaven has adopted out for 100 every year. And those birds have been, the homes have been, the people have been interviewed and been assessed. And there is no, first come, first serve or anything like it. It is a matchup of who has the ability to look after these birds. And by and large, and I can witness because I watched it, it's been highly successful in finding good homes for these birds. And when you come to medical care for them, when you have a large operation, it's extremely expensive to do. And I don't have, I don't, I'm not in finance, but I know because we, the Night Alberta Hospital, carry 23 large birds, and we carry 20 small birds. And so I know on a monthly basis how much money goes into those birds. And in comparison to Greyhaven, it's it's the same. And I also know that these birds get sick, it would be nice if they could be treated like somebody's pet. And I know that I personally don't have financial resources to do that. It is astounding how much that when you hire people and do rest. So I look at this and I think that at some level we need to turn this into something else. And so I would ask if you could put your mind to something like this. And so I think that it would be really a wonderful thing if it could be that Greyhaven as it exists had another venue that was for medical care.
I agree. That would be amazing.
So in the process of achieving that, then one asks the question, so how is it done? And what do we need in order to do it? And I think that, I know how you feel. I mean, you feel extremely intense about it. And I wonder, I I don't think that approaching this in a negative way is going to end up with a positive result. I can't see how it will happen. And so I'm thinking that if we could work with Greyhaven to develop some way of looking after the medical care of it, and we approach Greyhaven with this is a plan for medical care, then maybe we could make this a positive thing. I guess as a person who's been in sort of the formative years of this, I worry that I worry that this goes into a lot of negativity that Greyhaven used to be able to adopt out, receive, and adopt out these birds that desperately need places to go. And I know that Jenny Tamlin is excellent at finding good homes, just excellent. And that's just a fact. But obviously, this situation could stand to have some other input into it. But I guess I'm also saying that the only way we're going to get positive out of it is to create positive into it. So if you don't mind putting your mind to that, then maybe I can help you.
I'm very open to that. I'm very open to that.
I think that that's not the question. I think the question is to something and then present it and see. Because you just don't know people. Like you can be sure they will do something.
Mm-hmm.
But people change, and what people do, it sometimes does me great. But I guess I know within myself, I think this would be a really positive thing to do.
I want to be clear, I don't have ill will towards Jenny. I want her to change for the better. I think part of that is being held accountable for her mentality towards sick birds. I don't doubt that she is good at finding homes for birds. I don't doubt that at all. I just my thought behind it was that if people within the rescue could see that this type of mentality isn't something to be proud of, at least the one that she has personally, because I've heard great things about other directors, that perhaps that there would be more encouragement for her to change. And that was my idea behind it. I'm not really sure like how a new facility could be established. I have looked at the financial stuff on charity data. It looks like that they could afford to start that, and if they do that, I'd be 100% supporting that. But Jenny won't talk to me. she's she's very angry and she yells at me and
So
then
it doesn't matter about that.
yeah.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is that can we step aside, aside from all of that stuff, because it's it's not any way that's going to go anywhere positively. So what I'm suggesting basically is what I'm suggesting is that we sit down and we start to work out criteria and 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 direction on how to take this established facility and say to them, here is what we have to offer without having to build another facility, start another station, because it, it's it's so difficult to do it the other way. And I know that my lifetime, I don't have enough time to to establish and do. But I do know that if we could come up with some good way of handling this, we could serve as a directional force.
Okay, I'm behind you on this as long as there's more that's more fleshed out. Like I like the idea, I just don't know how it would be executed.
Okay, but you're smart. You're smart. And all
Thank
I
you.
wanted to do was to call you and say, I've been agonizing on this, and it's really, and would you mind just taking some time and thinking about how one could develop a, for instance, if you take the Vancouver Humane Society, you know, they're an educational um, group. They So I was part of that when it started. It's an educational group. It was never meant to be a facility where animals were kept. But the long and the short of it is that over the years they get so many calls from people who have money issues and need to have their pets treated that they have developed a system of where you need money to treat Jojo, and they can give you like $500 if towards your medical bill if you qualify. So now they have a mechanism of not just educating people, which is the slowest thing in the world, but actually to making a inroad where that individual animal gets helped right away. People get help right away. So that's that kind of a mechanism. Whereas if one became, and this is just one idea, and I'm not, it's just what I've been thinking today, but where if one developed say, a, a financial bank, so to speak, that solicited funds from that there for medical care for these these small birds
Mhm.
that have.
I think my issue with that is because when I was looking at their financial information, um, in 2023 they had excess of like over 100,000. Um, and I'm just like, well, at least the birds that come in where you know they have issues like sweet pea and therefore honeysuckle was also at risk. Um, they would know that that bird probably needs care, you know? So it's like it's not like they didn't have the funds.
Right, but I don't. So it takes a lot of money to run these places like Ladner House, like Jenny's house, $1,000 a month. Do you know that WPR on Vancouver Island was over $500,000 a year to run, and that's just like staffing, food. It's horrendous. I know that for us, with the birds that we support, that we are easily at $15,000 a month to look after our birds, and that's paying people to look after them, their food, their housing, and it's not putting in thousands of dollars for medical care in addition to it. So $100,000 may sound like a lot of money, but in a year, that $100,000 could just go.
I'm aware that it's like, you can't check every bird with that kind of situation, but at least with the birds that come in, they can at least get diagnosed and started on medicine before they go out for adoption.
Okay.
That's my argument. That's not all birds.
But I guess what I'm saying is that what tends to happen is that if birds come in, they have problems. That if it is that they're, no, I need to start another way of saying, I think the wonderful thing if was a mechanism to look after medical expenses that didn't involve potentially threatening daily running
I
expenses.
don't know if you're actually aware of this, but back when I first heard of Greyhaven and adopted Sweet Pea, I had actually contacted them about potentially volunteering to run their social media because I have a lot of experience with that and do very well with that for free. And I was ignored and told that they just, like Jenny told me that that's Catherine's thing and that she's too busy to contact Catherine and they never listen to her. And that then when I messaged them, they just ignored me on this. So I actually did try that angle before. I don't know if you knew that. Like I wanted to help them like get more reach and fundraising and even like find people to like adopt birds because I noticed that on the website a lot of them were not getting adopted, but that's because Jenny doesn't post them all.
I think that what they take in every year gets they adopt out that many a year, so I think it's highly successful, the adoption.
Oh, I agree. I know. I'm aware of that. It was my concern were the birds that were on the website who seemed harder to adopt out. After I had learned about the numbers, I was like, okay, these are just difficult to place, and maybe they just need more reach. But
or maybe nobody's looking after the website.
A lot of people do actually. I've spoken to a lot of people while taking Sweetie to come to the hospital, and actually many of them have commented about how the birds never seem to get adopted out on the website, and that actually caused public distrust. And and that's why I would recommend that they update it more with birds that come in and go, like the 100 birds who come in and go, like even if they didn't get a chance to put up a profile because they were quickly rehomed, make a public like a list of them and just like photos so people know, because that was actually a concern when I was talking to a lot of your patients.
Okay, but and I grant you that. But that's an aside from
yeah.
our issue.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm just saying that I did actually try to get help for like eyes on these birds, and it would have resulted in fundraising and all that just because I handle social media quite often, and yeah, and I heard that like that they didn't have the resources. So I was like, well, if they had better reach through social media, especially the platforms that younger people use, because Facebook is, let's be real, it's not really that active anymore unless if you're older. Um, they would be able to fundraise more and generate more funds, but I was constantly denied and ignored. Um, so I can't help there because I already tried that method. I tried that first. If you can get them to talk to me and do it in a civil way where it's not aggressive, I would be more than happy to talk about things that they could do. I even just wanted to actually give them pointers to use hashtags because they don't use hashtags, which is weird because then the birds that they're posting on Instagram, it only gets shown to their followers, which are people who already have experience with Greyhaven. So it's not reaching new people. So it's hard to get these birds homes that might have more difficult, needs. And there are plenty of people who are willing to take in these birds. They don't know about them. And I know this because my followers talk to me about this, and a lot of them are, when I post birds who need homes, they're even ones that are special needs. They're like, "Where is this bird? Can I get them? Will they ship it?" They just like start asking all these questions. And I know that they care about birds a lot because they were very invested in Sweetie's care and, like, the little ramp that I made for her and everything. So it wasn't like just random people who wouldn't have cared about the well-being, and I can build that kind of community, and I offered my services and it was rejected. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I wish it wasn't like
Okay,
this.
but listen, we're
Yeah.
just getting back to the same place again.
Yeah.
What do we do?
I don't
What do
know.
we do about it?
I don't know because I think that this involves, them needing to be able to talk to me. I think it involves Jenny needing to be able to change her attitude and recognize that there are some birds that she maybe shouldn't handle because perhaps, like, she just doesn't have the empathy for them. And I don't know if she does or doesn't, but it's just like, they maybe they need someone who's more diligent. Like, it might be a different trait. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
But also, you know, you don't want to, you don't destroy something
I
that
don't. I
actually
genuinely don't. I really don't.
no. So I guess I'm saying is think however situation is rectified,
Mhm.
it has to be fairly carefully. Will have get damaged.
Mhm. Yeah, I
We
can
don't want to.
understand that.
We don't want to be. We don't want to be without an organization and have 100 birds a year. So I think we'll have okay. Okay.
I'm
All
I'm
right.
I'm always willing to talk about this. I am. And I'm just trying to push for change within the organization, and I don't want it shut down. I want that to be totally clear to you.
Well, you have to be very careful. This work used to be,
Mhm.
and so what you say and what you sometimes process have to change something that has to happen in a timely manner, done in such a way to not end up wrecking it. Uh, it can be best of intended people end up wrecking it all, so to speak. And I guess think I agree. I think that things could be better. We just have to figure out how to do it, wrecking it all. That's
Yeah.
my that's what I'm trying to uh, so I'll go back to the drawing game.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to talk to you about this. I truly am. Thank you for calling.
All right.
Him. Oh, hello.
Okay, I have another idea.
Ooh. Okay. Shoot.
Okay, now listen. What about okay? What about setting up an alternative network that that looked after, like, what if you had, this is just an idea, so this isn't out for public.
Okay.
This is just an idea. Okay, so you have these people who are interested in geriatric small
Yes.
and have medical issues. So what if you were to define, what if you were to develop a list of people who would like to adopt a geriatric lovebird and look after it and see about it, and that you could develop a list of these people, and then that list then could be either a list that you then gave to Greyhaven, that when they get people who phone, because they just get the worst cases, like Mrs. Jones dies and she's got 13 parakeets flying around her apartment, and that kind of thing. So what if you developed a rescue society, but it was of phone numbers and people for crib, and so that if you could do it two ways. One, you could have somebody who is the director of the phone list, or you could give them the phone list of all these people who would like to do this kind of, and then they could use them. So when they got the phone calls, they could either say, well, there's a rescue for lovebirds and that are geriatrics with health issues, and I can give you the number that I give you the number of the group. Or they say, well, we have a list of 12 people who are interested in having a geriatric with health issues, and so we can redirect you to one of those people, take them in, and then have them adopted out to one of those people.
So I think that's a very valid idea. But the one thing that I've noticed on social media is that people react to content, so they need to see the bird before they jump on the bandwagon.
Okay,
That's the big issue. So it's like I can have a list of, like, I can be like, a lot of my followers, they are, they're bird people. They're interested in birds, and if they see one that tugs at the heartstrings, they'll want to adopt. But they're not just like, where can I get a geriatric bird? They need to see one and be like, I connect with this bird. And then that's what makes them reach out, and which is why I offered my services to do the social media.
So did you say that was a bad idea?
I like the idea, but I think it needs to start with having a platform where people know that this is where they can get birds like that. Because the thing is that when they see the bird on the video, then they reach out. And then if they don't get matched up with that bird because we matched it up to someone else, I think that we could redirect them to leaving their name on a list, so that if there's a bird that pops up, we can notify them immediately. So we can also post in the stories, like on social media, that okay, then this bird got to meet their human, and then they're happy, and then they can see the the story of the bird and finding their new family. And then we can also mention at the end that there are more birds who need home. Please reach out if you're interested in adopting, and that kind of thing. But I can't just be like, oh, here's a list. And the thing is, it's like,
oh, no, that's just an idea. It's
okay,
not. So
I like the idea. It's just I think it's more than that,
So maybe that some way of doing it. So I'm gonna just give this more thought, but I thought I would just call you back with another idea.
Okay, I do like it. I want to make that clear. It's just that I don't think I could just get a phone list. I would wish I could. That'd be really easy and nice for all the birds.
Alrighty. Okay.
Okay.
Megan, thank you.
No problem. Bye.